Hey there, welcome to my living room. I wanted to do a formal sit down video to just like talk about and explain the meaning behind this piece that I've been showing a lot on Instagram. I feel like Instagram is lovely and awesome, but like those reels like don't tell you anything like what the work is actually about. So I want to explain it a little bit. So thanks for being here. And sit tight, grab a cup of coffee or tea and like sit down and relax and listen because it might take a while. But anyways, the painting above me is titled Ora. In Greek, the word ora translates to time, so it's a Greek word for time. And the work is about the travel of time, like time passing. It's like it's meant to evoke a conversation about how quickly life passes through our lives and like how slow time passes at the same time. This sort of like balance of time passing really slow and time passing really fast. So the inspiration behind the work was from a photograph of water and of a mountain. So this piece was kind of like an intuitive, like the way I created it, it wasn't like directly drawn from a photograph like my normal work. So if you are familiar with my work, here are some of my other drawings. So this derived exactly from a photograph of water. So I like to do these abstract drawings and zoom in on these photos and create this like line work from that photo of the water. But this one was a little bit different. I wasn't staring at a picture of water. It was a little bit more intuitive. I just took that like visual language, that line work, those shapes, those curves, that sort of like organic, textured like line work that I normally use in my abstract drawings. And I kind of like let loose and came up with this piece. It's also inspired by black and white drawings I've done from photographs of the mountain in Greece. So there's this really special mountain in Greece that I can dive into that story at another time because it's like kind of a long story. But anyways, one of the photographs was of a mountain and that kind of inspired a series of drawings. And then the other photograph is of water and that inspired another series of drawings. So anyways, this piece is kind of like a culmination of the water and the rock formations kind of like merging together in my mind, and then it kind of came onto the canvas like this. So yeah, let's talk about those two polar opposite things of like the water that is like ever changing, ever flowing, ebbing, moving, continuously like changing, and it's never the same. Like I think about the moment I took that photograph, like standing above the water with my phone. I was standing above the water like this and like looking down at the water, and I took the photograph, and it's like that moment I took the photograph, like that moment will never happen again, right? Like the water will never look the same as it did in that one moment. So I like to think about that when I'm doing my drawings, and I think about that concept of like time, like freezing and like standing still for just a moment in time like that. And then I come in and add and make these drawings that are about perceiving the water, like interpreting what you're looking at and seeing the water like in a different perspective, like looking at what's there in front of you instead of just like being like passive. You're very like your entire body is indulged in the experience of looking at the water, like really seeing it and perceiving it. Anyways, I'm kind of going on a side tangent because another body of work that I've produced is called Andilipsi, or perception, and it really talks about this theory of looking at something, like experiencing the water full circle. And again, like I have so much to say about my art, so I'm sure there's going to be more videos, but let's stay focused on this piece in particularly. So Again, like the water is moving, it's flowing, like your life, and like it's kind of like this analogy for life sometimes, because life feels like it's moving really, really fast sometimes, and it feels like you're constantly like going from work to after school things to like dropping off people, your kids. I don't know, I don't have kids, but like dropping off this person here, like going grocery shopping, and like doing all these things, and like running around town, and like running like a chicken with your head cut off, as my mom would like to say. You know, it's like you can't catch a break, you're like always running around. It's like your mind is constantly flowing, like your mind is running. Well, what do I need to do next? Like, what do I have to do? What's on my to-do list? I need to get all these things done by this time. Like, and your mind is just going and going and going, like the water is flowing. Like, I like to think of it as like your thoughts are just like flooding, and you are like thinking of all these things, right? And going back to time, like time frames of things, it's like you're running through life. It feels like you're running through life, and then you have these like little moments where you're like, oh my God, like it's my birthday, I'm 25 years old. Like, where did the year go? Like, it's already another year gone by. And I'm 2 years married now, and it's like I feel like the wedding just happened. So it's like this weird paradigm of like time like passing by, but at the same time like feeling like things had just happened, or like feeling like it's going by so quickly and you can't stop it. It's like this crazy thing, you know. Time is like the thing that like it's like you only have 24 hours in one day. So it's like, I don't know, it's time's a crazy concept. But anyways, like when time is going really fast, it really like makes you like kind of, you have that moment of like, oh my God, it's Christmas already, like it's my birthday again. Or my kid is used to be like an infant and now they're 5 years old. It's like, where has the time gone? Like this feeling of like time passing so quickly, right? In contrast to like a mountain, where the mountain takes years and years and years to evolve, and it's moving, but it's moving at an extremely slow pace, right? The earth is like slowly moving the mountain together, and the rock formations are slowly changing. So it's like interesting to think about, like the mountain doesn't really change much over a year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years. Like it really takes like centuries for a mountain to really evolve and like move and change. So it's interesting to look at the ocean and then look at the mountain and kind of like make that contrast between the two. And it's like you think about like time in a sense, because the mountain, like I think about like my grandmother, this mountain that I painted, or the mountain that I use as a reference to draw from. It is the mountain from my grandmother's village. So it's like I think about like my grandmother as a young girl living in the village looking up at this mountain. And then I think about myself like a lifetime later, like a whole generation later, like looking at that same mountain. Like, has it changed? Is it different? Like what has changed throughout that time period? So yeah, like I think about all these things, and this painting too, it's kind of like this like reminder to kind of like pause and like slow down and be like, where am I in time? Like, am I present in this moment? Am I just like flashing thoughts, like going through things like super quickly? Or am I like taking this time and treasuring it and making the most of it? So sometimes life feels like an ever evolving mountain. Like you feel like day to day you're not really changing. Like you feel like you're the same. Like every day is kind of the same as the last. And you feel sort of like in a rut, or sort of not even like a rut, but like you feel like every single day is the same and like nothing is changing. But like you don't realize that slowly over time you are changing, and like you are evolving day by day, like without even sort of noticing or like giving it like true attention. But like your life is evolving. Like you are growing every single day, even though like you don't see those things like right away. Like it takes time to acknowledge like the changes that are happening. Just like in the mountain, it's like you don't notice these little shifts in the rocks every day, but it's like over centuries and over like a few years, like things actually do change. So it's kind of that comparison to of like sometimes like life does feel like it's going by really slowly, and that's like normal. But then other times life feels like it's going by really fast. So the moral of the story is this painting is really like trying to challenge you as a viewer to look at it and think about these things. Think about the flowing water and think about that slow evolving mountain and compare it to your life. Like how can you kind of like make your life a mix of both, right? Like how can you find a nice middle ground to kind of exist in? And when you walk into your home, like your home should be this place of kind of rest and relaxation and kind of like a pause, like to what's going on in your everyday crazy life. And this painting, every time I walk into my living room, this painting is truly like a reminder for me to like turn off those flowing thoughts if I'm having them, right? Like if I'm like, oh my God, I gotta do this for work, I gotta go here and do this and do this and do this and like run around and like be a crazy person. It's like I feel like everyone gets caught up in this like hustle culture, especially like if you live near a big city like I do. It's like craziness, you know? You can't like, you're working a job, you're doing all these things, and it's like life, like when you walk into your house should be this place where you turn that off and you're able to fully rest and recharge your batteries and really like clear your thoughts and take all those worldly problems and issues and kind of like leave them at the door and come into your living space and just feel at peace and feel at home. Because home is a feeling of like peace and being comfortable and being present with the people that you love in your family and just having quality time and appreciating like the present moment. Yeah, because like in time, it's like we're always living in either the past or the future. So this painting is really kind of like this reminder to be present, to stop running your thoughts in the present or future, in the past or in the future, but to really focus on what's happening like right now. Like right now, I'm sitting in my living room and I'm talking and I'm doing this because it's like I've been also thinking about doing this for quite some time and like haven't actually like sat down to do it. So it's like little things like that, just being present in the moment and acknowledging how great your life is, you know, and noticing like all the beautiful things in your life and taking time for yourself to reflect and relax. And maybe I find myself like writing a lot and journaling on this couch and sketching, and like during COVID it was so nice because I used to like draw little still lifes of my living room in my sketchbook, and it was just so relaxing and calming. So just kind of like disconnecting from phones, disconnecting from, you know, all the craziness of life, and just really like just learning how to really relax, like really, really, really relax. Like I feel like people don't know how to relax, and like I'm sort of guilty sometimes. My husband like will like call me out for it, but it's like we really need to make relaxing and calming our minds a priority in our life. Otherwise we're just gonna run through life without ever like pausing to think about things and like living in the present moment. Like you need to that time to like think to yourself, like be okay, you know, being alone with your thoughts and being content, just like sitting in your living room and looking and thinking in your own head. You know, it's like a lot of people forget to do that. So yeah, I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything else. I'll read you exactly what I wrote in my senior show. So this book was made for my senior thesis when I was in art school, and I did my entire show about abstracting time. So that was the thesis of the entire show. And this drawing on the front here was one of my first ever abstract drawings I did for an assignment in my drawing 2 class. And this drawing really was the Kickstarter to this deep dive into abstraction, into perception, into looking at photos and drawing them in this way. Like, this was the first drawing with this line work that really inspired my art. Like, this is all what it's about. But yeah, let's go through it together. This body of work contains drawings and paintings that explore the subconscious passing of time. These surrealist drawings and paintings are abstracted from photographs taken of moving water in the ocean and a mountain cliff in Greece. So there is a little bit about the work. This painting is actually my bedroom currently. It was my very first water abstract painting. If you follow my work, you know that I've been doing many commissions sort of based off of this painting. So that's kind of been my passion the past couple years, is making custom pieces for people's living rooms so that they can experience this calm and serenity in their own home. And honestly, it is so nice. I love making work for people and like working closely with them and like making art like specifically for their house, for their room, for their space. I love it. It's so fun for me. All right, continuing on with the reading. Perception. So perception, a noun, a regarding, a way, perception, a way of regarding, understanding, or interpreting something, a mental impression. Each drawing is a mental impression. What I think I see as I observe the same photograph over and over. I let my brain interpret the image and transform it into something completely different from what it is, trying to understand what I am really seeing. So yeah, going back to that entire idea of perceiving the water, like really looking at it, that full body experience. Perception is about experiencing it, what's around you with all of your senses, and really interpreting what's there. So these drawings are sort of like surreal in a way. Like, this line work is very like surrealistic in the sense of like, it is your mind, your subconscious mind, like just flowing and like drawing whatever it's seeing, and just kind of like letting go of what's really there and not trying to be realistic and not trying to capture the image for like word for word, right? We're not trying to I'm not trying to just draw a realistic image of water. Like, I'm looking at these little things that like people normally wouldn't pull out of the drawing. So my goal is to really like dissect that drawing or dissect that photograph of the water and really pick out like each line that I'm seeing, and like really letting my brain go wild and, you know, make this crazy thing come alive. So yeah. All right, let's keep going. All right, so here is said mountain in Greece. I've been kind of hinting towards it. But here is the mountain. It is a giant cliffside, and there is a monastery that is built on the one cliff of the mountain. So when you look up, it's like perched up into the mountain. And so this is from the village where my grandmother lived her whole childhood. She immigrated to America when she was about 19 or 15, I don't remember, but she was a young girl in her teens, and she immigrated here to America and got married and did the whole American immigrant story, you know, like many other Americans were immigrants. But anyways, I digress. So this painting has a lot of that similar like line work in it, and I feel like I need to really revisit this idea of the mountain and bring back these colors. They're so rich and orange, and they're green, and they're like red and fiery, and I need to go back to it. Well, something to look forward to. Everyone's always like, you do the same blue paintings. Well, you know what? I like them, and I'm going to keep doing them. But if I were to do something else, this is what you can expect. The mountains and more like neutrals. I like that. I want to revisit that concept. Here were the drawings that were from the photograph of the mountain. So you can see it's sort of very similar to the ones of the water. I kind of did that on purpose so you couldn't really tell the difference between the drawings, right? Like I wanted to really make that comparison very concrete of like, even though it's water and a mountain cliff, like when you really dig deep and like look at them for what they are, like they're kind of similar, which is kind of crazy cool. Anyways. Now, the last one, or the last little excerpt of writing is on prayer. So here, I will read it for you. Prayer. As I concentrate on the act of drawing, my mind drifts into a focused state. All worldly thoughts exit my mind. In this busy life, it is hard to find time to practice silence. But as the pen moves on the paper, I am allowed to think only of the curving lines in front of me. It is at this time my mind is free to converse with God. He guides my hand through my work, and it is then that each individual drawing begins to possess its own identity and emerges into being. So yeah, like a big part of who I am and my identity is being an Orthodox Christian. And a lot of my work is sort of in this mindset of prayer and meditation and contemplation and being at peace. Like I've been talking about this whole time, it's like when you come into your house, you should feel this feeling of peace and calmness, right? Like turning off all worldly thoughts and just allowing yourself to be still and silent, because if your mind isn't still and silent, it's really hard to pray and to be connected with God. And so my work of physically drawing is what help me for a while, like to relax my mind. And for whoever's viewing this, it's a reminder to kind of pause and like shut off your mind and allow yourself room to pray, room to have that conversation with God and the saints and talk, right? Or talk to them or pray to them and feel their presence, because with the worldly things going on, it's really hard to kind of focus in and work on building a better relationship with God. And through these works, it's like really trying to connect you with God and connect you with that peaceful feeling that comes with being a Christian and being connected to your faith. It's like your life will always have this little like void. I feel like I meet people and like I just can sense like they have something missing in their heart. Like I can just sense it. Like they just need something. And that something is faith. It's that relationship with God. And no matter what religion you are, it doesn't matter if you're Orthodox Christian or I don't know, any other religion. It's like you need to have that connection with your creator or whatever you believe in. You know, it's like you have to have faith in something, you know, so otherwise you're gonna have this like hole of like emptiness and you'll never really feel at peace, like true peace, you know, like truly your soul is at peace, like not just like, oh yeah, I'm fine. It's like, no, it's deeper than that. It's like really looking into your soul and thinking about like, am I really at peace? Or, you know, and God is and Jesus are the only ones that can truly like bring peace to our hearts. So yeah, it was a cute little talk. I'm working on it too. I'm not perfect. I don't have this amazing relationship with God. I mean, I pray a lot and I do, but it's like, I don't know. I feel close to God, but I'm also like this big sinner, so I don't know. We all are, so whatever. At the end of the day, it is what it is. Just trying my best. And I'm sure you are too, so. But anyways, Ty is crying outside. And then here are some drawings. So here are some drawings from that same senior exhibition that I've been telling you about. These are all abstractions from the mountain. So I actually created 100 different drawings and none of them are the same. They were all made on different days at different times, looking at that same photograph over and over again. And this practice really helped me think about who I am as an artist. What am I trying to say? Like what my message was, like really bringing these ideas together, thinking about this so much, right? Like coming up with all of these ideas. It didn't just like come into my head. I really had to like struggle and work through like issues and figure out like my identity and what was important to me and what I was trying to tell people and what I wanted to share with people. It's like I have so much to share, and it's like these circles and these drawings really help bring that out of me and express what I'm saying, like what I want to say, like what my message is. So if you're feeling like you want to get started on being creative or even just being mindful, my biggest tip or suggestion would literally just to draw once a day for 5 minutes. Like I tell this to my students because I teach high school drawing, and I tell them like just every day when you come in the room, you're gonna draw whatever you want for 5 minutes, and that's it. Like you don't have a prompt, you don't have criteria. I'm not grading you on what you draw, you just have to draw something. And it's so interesting to see them evolve and grow and come up with like their voice, because they end up drawing things that they are interested in. They end up drawing things that they're passionate about and what interests them. And if they really love flowers, like they start drawing flowers, and like the flower gets better and better and better every single day. I have one student that draws manga characters, like these anime characters, and like it's so crazy to see like his day 1 drawing versus now his day 30 drawing and the in-between progress. And it's just so cool to watch these students just evolve and grow, and like that slow moving progress. It's like day by day, like just that little thing every single day adds up to your life. So yeah, like every little bit counts, and you do grow and you do change and you do evolve and move, like that slow moving cliff. But yeah, like my biggest advice is to just draw once a day. And it's funny, even now that we're 30 days in, some of my students are like, I don't know what to draw anymore. Like, I'm so tired of this. I don't know what to do. Like, oh my God, they feel like I have this feeling of like, oh, I'm over it, you know? And I'm like, wait and keep doing it. And what I tell them is don't overthink it. Like, everyone overthinks the drawing thing. I'm like, don't think you have to do this or do that or do like something or copy something or whatever. Like, you don't have to do things like that crazy. Like, just starting, you can just draw a circle. Everyone can draw a circle. You can just draw a circle over and over and over and over and over and over again, and just watch the pen move on the paper. Like, think about like the ink touching the paper. Like, move your hand in a circle. Like, really focus on the feeling of drawing the circle. It might sound crazy right now, but like literally just drawing different size circles, then it will, you know, maybe you come up with a pattern where it's like a big circle going to a little circle, or I don't know. You know, I feel like that's really how I got started with this style of work. Like, I really just started with drawing lines. Like, I went to art school, never had formally drawn before, like never took an art class in high school. I took glass art in high school, never did drawing. I didn't know how to draw. I literally like drew when I was a kid. Like, I didn't take any drawing classes. And then I go to college and I'm like in these like college level drawing courses, and everyone's like great and amazing realistic drawers. And I'm just like, hey, don't know how to do that. I had no like formal training, no skills. I basically was like, I don't know what to draw. So my teacher was like, draw every day. And I'm like, what? Like, so I started out like just literally drawing lines. And if I make another YouTube video, I will show you my old sketchbooks. But like literally I would just draw like little lines, and sometimes the lines got curvy, and just like sometimes the lines got like a little funky. Sometimes I would do like little funky shapes. I would draw like little squiggly lines and then make like a squiggly shape or something. And then just like, it was so random. It was so like, I felt at that time, I was like, what am I drawing? Like, I'm just drawing like lines. Like, I don't even know what I'm doing. Like, I'm not an artist. Like, I'm just drawing these like funky little lines. Like, what is this? But at the time I didn't realize like I was building up this style, this skill, this like way of moving my marker, like way of looking at the paper. Like, I was learning, I was trying new things. Like, I was basically like building up the skills to get to this point, you know? So it doesn't happen overnight. It's like this long process of trial and error and just creating every day and slowly evolving. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've covered enough, and this video is so long. So if you stayed till the end and you watched this whole thing, I love you, because first of all, you know that already. Love you. I love everybody. I mean, I can't hate a fly. But thank you so much for having interest in me and my work. I could cry. Oh my God. But yeah, OGs, you know who you are. All right. And everyone new here, thanks for being here. It'll be a fun journey. You guys are still at the beginning of it. So I'm so happy that you're watching this and that you're interested in me and in my work and just like listening to my art rants. If you like this, leave me a comment. I will love that. And please share your thoughts if you're having similar thoughts, if you agree, if you disagree, I don't know. Just feel free to comment whatever you want. It'll probably make my day. So yeah. Thanks for being here again, and have a good evening, rest of your night. Have a good day, and don't forget to be present. All right, see you later.